I was like 120 kgs. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, what is this? It also affected me health wise. My parameters were gone. I was a sports person from the beginning. I joined a team in October last year. 3 months, 3 to 3.5 months I trained for it. Just this last Sunday I completed my 42K at Mumbai. So I used to always set up a goal for myself for the year. 1 or 2 weeks focus is on consistency. You train your body to sleep by 9 o'clock so that you get up by 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock and you're ready to start at 5. It's my personal experience that over the years when I have been running, I used to do a 21K and then next 2 days I'm like dead. But today when I see myself, after 21K I'm fine.
It's about how you train, how well you train.
Runner without a goal is that person will probably stop running after some time.
Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. How many of you heard that quote? When I met our guest today, whose name is Mr. Seetharam Rajamani, I learned a lot of things about life from running. It was an amazing discussion. And you will listen to a lot of the discussion too. That running can also be a powerful tool to get success and happiness in life. आपको लग रहा होगा कैसे? So we can listen for that. But what I understood is when you run every day or when you do any exercise, you play a sport every day, you build a character. And how you do anything is how you do everything. So a person who's successful and happy at one place, it'll be successful and happy in all the places. And body and fitness could be easy area to achieve that happiness and success. So thank you very much for joining in Seetharamji on the show.
Pleasure.
And we'll talk a lot about running, life, business, different areas. But I want to start with your journey. So I want to know about you, let listeners know where are you from and about your education, family background.
So I am, you can say, a son of an army officer. So I have been at various places to start with. But later on, my father was posted in DRDO, and due to which then we were in Pune for a long time. So I did my schooling from Pune in KV, Kendriya Vidyalaya. Later I did my engineering from Vishwakarma Institute of Technology and also my MBA from Institute of Management Education in Pune. Subsequently then I have worked in many electrical companies. I started my career in sales and throughout I've been a sales and marketing person. I worked in brands like General Electric, ABB, Havells, Wipro, to name a few. And presently I am an entrepreneur where I am a partner in a company called Ray Enterprises, where we are dealers for electrical cables representing brands like Finolex, RR Cable and Polycab.
Wonderful. So you seems to have a lot of influence of army and from your father. You look like an army man. So when I met you first time, I thought, you must be retired colonel or something. That's where your influence is. And then you said my father was in army. Yeah. So I want to know in terms of when you're growing up in a childhood, what characteristics or you learned from your father, or because he was in the army and there's an image of army men we all have in India. Right. And they are actually that kind of personality, what we think. So what are your learnings from him and which you still carry on in your life?
To start with, I think there were times, as a child, like 5 year, 6-year-old, I used to see him every day follow a particular routine. So he would get up, he would have his cup of tea, then he will go for a run, then he'll come back, do some exercises. So all this is very, even today I can remember and recall. And when I look back, I never used to, so he used to push me that, you should do this. Get up, let's go. And he was the one who taught me playing tennis as well to start with. Later on, I, of course, took formal coaching as well. But then he took me through, he used to take me for runs and somewhere deep down, I think that came into my DNA, and it's now after so many years I find myself really doing the same things which he used to do, in those years.
Yeah, I remember there's a
So,
lot of power in routine.
yes,
And I've heard that you can beat a smartest person on the earth because you follow a certain routine every day without getting bored.
exactly.
So, any take on routine which you learned from your father and maybe because of his health regime, but how it build up your career later on?
Yeah, so as I said, this was there from the beginning. I used to see it, but as a young boy, I think it's quite common.
Yeah.
I see it happening to my son also. I've seen it over the years. They don't really appreciate the power of this, and then after so many years, even it's true for myself, I was not disciplined at all till the age of 35, 40, to be honest. Only after that, then when I realized that things are not okay, then you start seeing the benefits of having a disciplined life or following a certain routine and doing it consistently, which is very important. Discipline is one, but doing it on a
Consistency.
regular basis, do it for 3 days or 4 days in a week, but do it on a regular basis. Don't miss the routine.
So, what happened at around 40s, which you decided, no, I have to run and
Oh,
to
it
get
was
back? Any story?
it was bad. I mean, uh, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, "What is this?" And I was like 120 kgs.
Oh, you still have the photograph?
I think I
You
have.
could have.
I'll have to search it out.
Yeah, it's lost, and good
Yeah,
it is
it was
lost now.
Yeah. So I'm happy that it's in the past. And then I slowly realized, and it also affected me health wise. My parameters were gone haywire. So since then, I had to be on medication for blood pressure.
Oh, you went to
Yes,
medication.
yes, yes. So then I thought something has to be done about this. So I started slow. Of course, I was a sports person from the beginning. So I used to play tennis and I used to run also initially. So all these things uh, didn't have did have a positive thing when I restarted. So started with running, run and walk, but I always ensured that I do it consistently. I did almost 4 to 5 days in a week. Used to do longer duration runs on Sundays, and I could see a difference in 6 months itself. I also had a little bit of a strict diet, because of which then I started to gain control over my weight. I was able to bring it down. Regular exercise, running. So this process took about maybe a year or two to become a lifestyle. And after that, I
So no
don't think
medications after that. All went
I
away.
I had to continue, but it was reduced, and
Reduced
then
by
finally
doctor.
it was
Stopped.
removed. Yeah.
And what is your weight now?
Now I'm at 82.
82. So, but when you did for initial
But the initial
120 to
120 to it came to around 100.
okay 20 kgs
Yeah,
in
but
a
then
year,
in about 2 years or
2
so.
years, yes.
But then I was not still in that range where um, I mean, I was in a range where I was complacent. I said, "Yeah, fine,
ये
running
ठीक
कर
हो
रहा
गया.
हूँ, हो जाएगा." I didn't focus on my diet. But then slowly I realized, and this is just about 3, 4 years back, when I realized that the diet
That
also
is more.
becomes very important. So then from 100, then I have come down to I came down to around 78, and now I'm in 80,
82.
82 range.
But now it is in your control. You decide how much
Yes,
it should.
now I know, that this is the things which need to be in check. The diet and the exercise need to be the focused areas. And of course, the other two things which I feel is very important is sleep and stress. Those are the other two factors also which are to be controlled and in
So
limit.
food, movement, sleep, and stress. 4 things to control on.
Yes.
Okay. And if you're okay to share your age, what is
I am 52 right now.
52? And I am very happy to share with everyone. You just finished your marathon.
Yes,
At
I did.
52, you did your marathon. Yes,
Yes,
marathon is for world. If you don't know, marathon is 42
42
kilometers of
kilometers.
run.
That's right.
And just share your journey on the marathon too, because it's a big achievement to run for 42 kilometers.
So I didn't really think I would do it, to be honest. I started running in 2014, almost till 2024, mid of the year, that is last year. I was happy with doing 21s, and I was always a solo runner.
So half marathons.
Yeah, half marathons and some 10Ks here and there and some events, but never really thought of 42. Then suddenly it struck me that there is something called a Procam Slam, which is four events organized by Tatas. One is the Tata Mumbai Marathon. Then you have Bangalore, which is a 10K. Then you have Delhi and Calcutta. So these four events have to be done in a calendar year or in a once stretch, so that you will have the slam which has four medals put together. For that you had to do a 42K,
Hmm.
which is at Mumbai. So that was the trigger. Then I thought that I can't escape from this. Let me do it. And in addition, I also have a dream to do a couple of international marathons, which are the majors, so to say, which always are 42Ks.
Hmm.
So obviously, you have to have an experience at least of doing 42 sometime. So again, I thought that there's no escape. I'll have to do it. So
So
then I joined a team in October last year, and 3 months, yeah, 3 to 3.5 months, I trained for it, and just this last Sunday, I completed my 42K at Mumbai.
wonderful. So I have heard that when you run a marathon, it's more of a mind game than a body game.
Yes,
So would you like to talk about the fears and the the monsters in the mind which hold you,
yeah,
and then how do you handle them when you are in the marathon, and maybe before a day or 2 day prior, because you need a very powerful mindset.
correct. So it's all about training. But this again varies from person to person. Somebody can just get up who has done a 21K, and tomorrow he could go and do a 42K. It depends on the person's build and inner strength, a lot of other things. But if you have to do it properly, you have to train for it. That is what is my learning. And even till the end, that is the final day of the race, there were fears, but I must say that I was very confident because of the training which I went through.
Wow.
Because we had proper schedule wherein there was a long run of 35 kilometers. So slowly the number of kilometers keeps increasing in the training. So the first week you do 21, then the following week you do a 30, then again you drop it down to 18, then following week again you do 35. So the training takes you through various
Phases.
benchmarks or numbers to train the mind that this is one limit, this is the next one. So it gives the confidence that you can do this longest distance of 42 kilometers. Along with this, we also do a lot of strength training, 2 days at least in a week, wherein you work on all the muscles which are required for running. And also we do speed runs, the sprints and hill runs, which gives you the endurance build up for the long distance. When I did all this, I mean, this is the effect of training, which I would like to say that during the run also, I knew that I will cross the line. There's no problem in that. Besides that, there were weather conditions were not good and all those things were there. And in fact, at the end of the race, I also thought that maybe I could have, sped up a little earlier.
Hmm.
I could have saved a little more time. So that's again the mind thing which happens, during a run, during the final race. that there are various things play on your mind that, what if I don't complete? All that hard work is gone. So those things probably played on my mind, which is always something which happens for a first timer. But yes, these will be the learnings for the next run. I'll be much more confident.
So the curiosity question, let's say 100 people sign up for a marathon, whatever number is, because we're talking percentage right now. So what percentage people will finish and what percentage will drop off average generally?
5 to 10% are surely going to drop off
Going to drop off, yes.
because they are the ones who would have probably not
Trained well.
or they just don't know the enormity of the situation. It's not just a 5K or a 10K. It's long.
And
You
sometimes
have
your
to be
body,
on the road for 5 hours.
5 hours,
It's
yeah.
not a joke. Your
and
legs
sometimes your body can also give up.
yes, true.
Your mind is running, but
Yes.
some pain, some injury can happen. So 5-10%. So 90% people finish. And the what I learned out of it, if you train well, success is guaranteed.
Yes.
So I want to take this tangent of running to the life too, because a lot of things what you discussed about running is true in life too. So in life, in business for the matter,
Business.
if I train for my business well, then success is guaranteed, and then I'll definitely make sure that I run a successful business.
Correct.
So more than that, but let's talk before business. I want to talk as human character. So what are the important human characteristics you acquired while running? So what do you think? Running, yes, makes you healthy, makes you more fitter, you live more life, and you enjoy the runs and all. But what important characteristics develops as a human?
First is discipline.
Discipline.
Secondly, consistency.
Yeah, we spoke about consistency too.
There is always the third and important thing of goals, because you need to know what you're aiming for. If
Thinking
if
big.
you're not going to, if you're going to run just like that, and end of the day you don't have some goal. It could be a very simple thing that okay, this month I'm going to do 200 kilometers. For an example, which was one of my earliest goals when I started running. That this month, so I used to always set up a goal for myself for the year, that this year I'll do 1800 kilometers. So like this, it also is the similar thing which reflects in life. You need to have a goal,
Goals.
whether it's a business. So obviously, when we talk about sales, so we have sales targets. So these are things which are very much synonymous in both areas.
It's true for business too.
Yeah.
So if I don't have a business goal for next year, I'm not training. Training means not acquiring the right skill sets
Also, it's true.
to win over it. It'll be difficult to. So let's say someone want to start running because looking at you, looking at your story, someone gets inspired that I'm going to run from tomorrow because looking at this particular podcast. So what should they do from tomorrow? So can you give little plan? How they should start and when can someone attempt for a marathon and little detail about running as a beginner to the marathon. Can you share some GPS map for that?
So to start with, the first 1 or 2 weeks, to focus is on consistency. That means you decide that 3 days I'm going to earmark for running or walking. I will do 3 days. I will do say 15 kilometers. You split it up in small parts. Like first day I'll do about 3. I'll do run and walk. As much as possible I'll run. Give it a number, like I'll run for 1 kilometer or 1 minute and walk for 4 minutes.
4
So like this, you split the 5 minutes into patterns of 1-4, 1-4, and do as much as you can, say in half an hour. Say you do 3 to 4 kilometers on that first day. Slowly on the second day of the week you do 5 kilometers, but you are doing it again, again in the same pattern. The third day you keep as a longer day or longer kilometers, and again do this. So repeat this cycle for say 4 weeks. slowly increase the numbers on each day. So by say 10%. So if your first week you've done 15 kilometers, you try to aim for 17 or
17.
18. And in this way, it becomes a habit, and slowly you will be able to keep on also increasing your mileage plus trying to run more. So you change the pattern from say 1 minute of walk to 2 minutes of walk, sorry, 2 minutes of run, 1 minute of run to 2 minutes of run, then 3 minutes of run. Slowly invert it. So make it a 4 minute run, 1 minute.
Walk.
So at the end of the fourth week or fifth week, you will be able to come to that. It's again individual, but the main focus here has to be the consistency. You have to get out for 3 to 4 days in a week and step out and walk or run.
And how many months it would take me if I'm preparing first time for marathon? I'm not ever run in my life. How many months minimum I should plan for it with consistency?
I think from a person who is starting off, ideally 4 to 5 months.
Oh, that's all. I was thinking a year at least.
I mean, it
It depends on
the
person. If someone is a sports person
really,
and
yeah.
he has done some running, some gymming, some sport earlier, it could be faster. Someone is not done ever, it will be more time. But 5 months is
5 to 6 months, I think,
should be good enough.
possible.
Should be possible.
Someone who, okay, I could maybe classify this a little more. Maybe somebody who's done a 5K, 10K could take 6 months. If somebody is from a couch to, a 42K or a 21K, may take 3-4 months more. So 9 months.
That's all.
Yeah, 9 months or because you have such planners or structures to take you through to those distances as well.
And you spoke earlier that there's a very important role of diet in this.
Yes.
Would you like to touch upon a little bit on the diet side of for the running specifically? If someone is preparing for the marathon, that could be your daily diet planning, and then the day before marathon and on the day of marathon, what kind of diet?
So the week before the long run or it would be a race day or a long run day, if I say so. Like if you're doing a Sunday, which is a 21K in training also, so you should tune your body to train for a long run, which can be extended to a 42K as well. The pattern remains the same. So the focus should be more on having healthy carbs. So like bananas are a good source. Good amount of hydration is very important throughout. There are 2 days before the long run, you should have electrolytes, those ORS and things, which is to be spaced out over 48 hours, but have to have that at least 2 liters of that. And have healthy food 2 to 3 meals a day. Add proteins, which is to do with eggs and non-veg if somebody is a non-veg. And vegetables, good fibrous food, and our regular Indian chapati rice with good source of greens, vegetables is definitely something which we should do before the long run, the week itself.
And on the day?
On the day of the run, before 2 hours, maybe you should have carb rich, say bananas are a good source. They're also a good source of potassium, so you can have that. And we also recommend to have something which gives instant energy, which are these gels. They are basically carbohydrate gels, instant form of sugar. So this we would have just before we start the run. And in case of like you do one about 40 minutes, every 40 minutes you have this gel, which you keep repeating.
So keep fueling yourself.
Keep fueling yourself. So this is very important to give that energy during the run, because you expend a lot of energy while running.
And after the long run is finished,
100% hydration is very important. Stretching, so that you are stretching all the muscles which have got stretched off during the run. And have very nutritious food which is protein rich, because of the muscle tear and muscle break which has happened. all that needs to be reconstructed. So proteins are very important after the run, and of course carbs and healthy carbs should be again taken after the run as well.
And what kind of sleep you get on the day of run? Is it very
That is-
satisfying, or it could,
That's a very tough thing actually,
or you don't
but it is
sleep?
recommended to sleep.
Yeah, because
You have to have at least 7 hours, not just before the day of the run, but the entire week.
Week.
You should have 6 to 7 hours of good quality sleep, which happens for most days, but the day of the run, especially in India, is very tough because there are early starts. So although it is recommended that you train your body to sleep by 9 o'clock or much earlier than that, so that you get up by 3 o'clock and or 4 o'clock and you're ready to start at 5, that becomes a little difficult.
you
But
practice it.
It has to be practiced.
Wonderful.
So when you practice it over a period, even during training and things like that, the same thing gets repeated on the race day.
And on the day of run, when run is done, does body pains a lot? And any, I know it person to person differs, but any
There is-
common experience you saw between your group and people around?
There is pain which could extend for some people for a week. It all again boils down to your strength training.
Training.
You have to have that 2 sessions in a week of strength, which covers all the parts like your calves, your quads, hamstrings, even the upper body. So the training schedule is such for that 1 hour per day, 2 strength sessions are there, and they really benefit. So it's my personal experience that over the years when I have been running, I remember about say 8 years back, I used to do a 21K and then next 2 days I'm like dead. I would have pain all across my legs and things like that. But today when I see myself, after 21K I'm fine. The next 3-4 hours I'm fine.
You are growing young then.
So it's the strength training
Yes,
which
strength
matters.
training matters a lot.
It happened this Sunday also. So when we were driving back, so half the way my wife drove, although I could have taken the wheel even after the run, but she just told me that she'll drive.
Yeah. So what
And
I
half the way I took over, so I was driving.
it's about how you train, how well you train.
So it's all about that.
So let's go to a little bit towards clothing. So on the day of run, what kind of things to be remembered to, in terms of clothing and shoes? Do you want to give some advice to that too?
Again, this should be practiced.
You
in
don't
the
buy
sense-
a new shoe and
Absolutely.
new dress for the day.
Absolutely.
That's an Indian habit, no?
Yes,
Don't do that.
we shouldn't do that. It's again what takes you to the long runs which you do during training. You should wear that clothing which you're planning for the race day, or similar to that. Or even the shoes should be those which you're going to use on the race day. I did that personally. Even 2 weeks before the final run, we had a training run in Mumbai itself. So we practiced with the costume which we're going to wear on the last day. So that's very important.
Do the dress rehearsal.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any tools and technological equipments, apps, body tools which is attached to body? Anything you want to recommend because you are a seasoned runner now?
So to start with, I think shoes is very important. One has to look at the comfort. Everyone's leg structures could vary. So accordingly, select something which is good, well cushioned, and also they're fitting properly. I mean, there should not be the exact fit, but a little bigger so that because during the runs your legs tend to expand,
You
so
need
you
movement.
need to have some space that your fingers to move. That is one. Secondly, have a watch. That today we have a lot of
So many
smart
fitness
watches,
watches,
so
yes.
that will give you a tracker as to how you are going, and it gives you a lot of analysis. That is very important. And clothing again, which are chafing free, so that you don't end up the things getting your body getting chafed during the run. And they should be comfortable and loose. And if you have a habit of carrying a mobile along during the run, I think then those belts are available which need to be used. rather than keeping it in the pocket.
Then it will keep moving here and then it
Disturb you, and because again you need some space. If at all you have some pockets, then you need space for the fuel, that is the gels and all that. So you need to have a plan for each and every thing which you're going to carry along.
And whatever you are carrying. So you are putting your extra load on the body too.
That's right.
And it may not matter for, if I'm doing half an hour walk, it's like 5 or 6 hours.
Correct.
Of
The 42K this is again my personal experience, that I had to change a lot of things during training, so that during the final race I don't struggle. During 21s and 10s I never used to have this kind of a plan. So for example, I wouldn't really carry even a bottle of water, but then for the longer runs I started having that as a backup, and that's become a habit now. Even for the small training runs I have that bottle.
And there are accessories which attaches with the hand to bottle. There are accessories for the bags which has a
Correct.
pipe. So there are a lot of things are available
Yes.
as a runner. Any app do you recommend for tracking the
So
runs?
I use Garmin, which is mostly a very universally present watch, which has an app itself. If you don't use a watch, and if you're used to using your mobile, then there are a lot of apps like Nike Run is there.
Like,
So there are is also another one. Which only thing is, then you have to have your mobile with you, and it has to be GPS connected.
then only track. But if you have a Garmin watch, then watch will track it for you.
Watch will have a GPS. There's no problem, and that can be extended into your mobile later on.
But do you necessarily need a tracking and an app and a watch to run? No. Either a lot of people who are looking at the podcast, they'll say, okay, I'll start running later. Let's buy a watch first. Watch is just a helping
I don't think
tool.
so.
You don't need to do.
I think the first aim is to get out on the road.
Yeah. No, get out of the bed first.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult part.
That's the most difficult. Correct.
Okay, so let's do a little tangent towards tennis. How much tennis has helped you in running, or do you think it was an added benefit?
Yeah,
and how did
definitely.
you develop the love for tennis?
So it was my father who got me into tennis to start with, and to watch tennis also. So that was, I think, 1984-85. The first youngest champion at Wimbledon was Boris Becker. So he was the first guy I really saw playing, and I got really inspired because of that. And till date, I have him as my hero.
So do you watch tennis still?
Yeah,
And
I still watch. I follow the entire tour very closely. And yes, it helped me a lot in running, because I played. My father used to play with me to start with. He was the first guy who coached me. And then I took formal training as well. I represented the school and college. But I didn't play that regularly after college. So it just went off somehow.
and running comes easy too. So you just
Yeah.
need a shoes and start running.
Correct. So
For tennis, you need racket, a
Yeah,
ground,
you
and a playground,
you
and a
need all
partner
that.
to play. And
correct. So all that was there, and I think because I was in the corporate for so long, then it just didn't work out. Somehow I should have found a way to do it, but it didn't happen. But even now I do play whenever I get time, and it has helped, because again, see, sport, running, these are connected. If you play a sport, then running definitely becomes easier.
So I want to ask you another thing is, I know you're writing a book on running, and how running can create far more successful and happy life. You're writing a book. And very interesting thing about that book is you're also taking interviews of people who have done good in their life, and they are also runners.
Correct.
So I know people have to read the book and to understand, go deeper, to understand a lot of things. But do you find certain commonalities in the people who you took interviews who are runners as well as doing good in life? So what did you learn in those interviews? Now this experience is not your own. You're learning from someone else's experience from the same field. So would like to highlight some points.
Very, very similar, I would say. I mean, journeys can be different because every person has his own, life journey and how he got into running. But there were similar occurrences. Like, as I said, in my case, at an age of 40 odd, I realized that something has to be done. So one of the persons who's also whom I interviewed had a similar experience, and he's an ex-army guy. But still, after being in the age group of like 45 plus 50 or almost 50, is when he realized that something has to be done. So that is one, and
Yeah, no,
one
you
of the
took
persons talk about patience.
patience.
So I myself then related to that. I am inherently I'm a very impatient guy. So, and I saw that I could relate to that and the change which has happened in me after I took
Run.
up to running. That the patience at work, at home improved. Discipline, of course, there's, I mean,
Yeah, one of
most of them
you
have.
took interviews one of the couple,
Yeah.
husband and wife, because they both run together and they are both
Yes.
running
Yes. They're both
and
ultra runners.
ultra. So what is
They're
ultra
like,
run first, and then did you find something different? Because when a couple run together, do you see any different thing in them as a
yes,
relationship or something?
100%. So they both, I'll come to the ultra. Ultra is basically anything beyond the full marathon. So 50 is also an ultra.
That's 50.
So anything 50, then they have 75, 100. So this couple has done 100 mile as the longest,
100 miles, which
which
is
is
would be
161 kilometers.
161 kilometers.
Yes.
Wow.
So the biggest advantage is they have something to bond together.
So
They are
relationship
running.
better.
So they have, and in their case, she was the one who started first. She inspired him to join, and then she qualified for an ultra, which is in South Africa, and he joined in as well, and both of them completed it together, and not once but twice. So they can set couple goals for the year, which is very rare, and there is a medium for doing that, which is running.
Running.
So it really helps, and they also then have the similar thinking, the similar routine which they follow day by
So
day.
food habits are
Food
same. So
habits
it's
are
easier.
same, easier, and they're also having the same training plan. For example, if they're doing this, if they have the same goal, then they have the similar training plan, although they may be different pace wise. I mean, one may be faster, the other slower, but that's fine. They
That's
get
fine.
out on the road on the same time, so that's what matters.
And just a little different question. So when you finished a marathon, you would have shared with your kids and couple of friends. So how world reacted? And I specifically want to know about your kids because we need. I personally feel that for us, our father and mother, our parents were
We
heroes,
have to inspire them.
and then same thing would happen with our kids too. So do you see any difference in their eyes because you did something which they must be proud of? So I want to share. Can you share that experience too?
Definitely they were proud of, but honestly I didn't get the reaction which I would have got from somebody outside of the family, or a friend, somebody like that, like, you've really done a great job and this is something outstanding, inspiring. They were appreciative of it, but
Maybe
I
because
think
again the
they don't.
training, they've been seeing you training every day.
Yeah.
So they know dad been running so much and he goes for run, did a 21 today, 30 today, 35 today.
Correct.
So they were also sure कि होने वाला ही है. So they were while you were training on the road, they were training in the mine, and maybe that would be
That
the
could be
reason.
the
Yeah.
reason.
Because when you see someone very closely working hard and then something happens, yeah, the hard work was put in. Someone who did not see the hard work, for them it's a shock. Wow.
Yes, true. That could be one of the reasons. Yeah, that's,
Because they don't know what happened behind the scene.
yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And I want to now a little bit talk about your experience in sales and marketing. Little funny question. Let's see how it comes in. Do you see any similarities in running and sales and marketing?
Lot of similarities. One
Let's talk.
which I started.
Or maybe entrepreneurship and running. Anything.
So, which I, anyway, we discussed this earlier also. It is the goal. I mean, a runner without a goal is of absolutely, I mean, that person will probably stop running after some time. So, you have to, okay, you start slow in running, but finally you should plan something that, I will do so much in the month, or next 3 months later, I want to do a 10 kilometer. After 6 months, I will definitely do a 21K. Or this year, I want to do 10 events, which will be 10 and 21
Wow.
together. So these kind of things
So
need to set.
we
for
can just
yourself.
translate kilometers to some lakhs or crores and
Yes.
events to big projects, and you can restate the same thing, just changing the words, and
Yeah.
it will be a
So,
wow moment. Yeah.
so that's when, even when I was a part of a company which was a small turnover company back in 2014. I would say it just happened by chance that that's when I started running as well, and I joined this company. So where I was there for almost 9.5 years. So there is a lot of things which I was able to bring into my work because of setting the goals in the running. The first year we were around 15 crores. Then slowly the next year we set a target. So I was the head for the sales. So the entire responsibility was with me to get the turnover up for the company. So every year we had this goal setting process and working on the figures and how we're going to, what are the resources we're going to have, how we'll get numbers, which are the new customers you're going to add, how we'll retain the earlier customers, what we need to do in terms of our products. So all this, really gave me a direction when I relate it with running. There were targets which I used to set for myself. Here it was a company, so there were a lot of other minds also involved, of course. But the ideas which I used to get from my running training and doing it myself, I used to apply it here.
What was the top line when you left that company?
It was around 85 crores.
15 to 85.
Yes.
So multifold growth
To
happened.
this year, probably they'll end up 120.
120. So more than 10 times, approximately 10 times, not more than, but 8 to 10 times of the growth in 7-8 years. Wonderful. So every year double, approximately.
Yes.
Wonderful. So goal is one part. What else do you think?
Goal is important. Uh, being, using the right tools in business also, because you need, suppose you are doing a tracking for leads, you need to have a correct tool for doing that. There are many apps or
CRMs and
CRMs
systems.
available, but you need to have it properly planned and
This side you have a Garmin app to track your running.
Correct.
This time you need a CRM to track your
CRM
running.
need to
So
have
tools and technology should be used.
tools is important. You need to have good team. So if I relate to running, then if you're part of a group, you have somebody who is overlooking your performance, a coach. In a business scenario, you have the MD, or you have the head of each function. So the team also, we need to have a good synergy.
Very good.
Very important that all the functions are working towards the common goal, which is
Wow.
to build the business. So these are again things which are very much relatable when you talk about the two things.
Now, about solo running. You said you did a lot of solo running.
Almost
So-
almost
major-
10 years was
majorly.
solo. Just 3 months I've been in a
So
group.
solo running, do you get ideas when you're running alone? What kind of things are going in your mind?
Lot of thoughts and lot of planning for the day also, you probably goes on in your mind. But personally for me, I used to take that time as pure meditation. I used to be blank. I used to only focus on my breath. What are the number of steps that, how fast I'm running, or so my focus was that.
So running is meditation.
Yes.
And even in meditation, we are told to just focus on breath.
Yeah. And it's also told that you should not think other things at that time.
Yeah. So be mindful. The tree is coming. Just enjoy the beauty of a tree and just absorb in the nature.
So that is why it just happens that I cannot see one day without running. It's happened over the years.
Even Sundays.
Even Sundays. Sundays are a big day.
Big
for
days,
us.
rather
So,
bigger work.
Yeah. So that is there, and even if I'm not in town, so many a times over my last few companies where I used to travel a lot. So the first thing which used to go into my suitcase is my shoes. And once I reach the place where I'm traveling, then I would be running the next day morning out there. So it just became a lifestyle. I mean, I couldn't give up from doing the routine every week.
Yeah, I love running for the reason, especially if someone is in traveling, running could be the best thing because
You
what you need
explore
is,
so many places.
you just need a shoe first of
You
all,
need a shoe, yeah.
no other equipment, and then you explore.
You explore.
And the beauty of morning is
Absolutely.
well, just let me share one other funny incident. Running in the morning has taught me about dogs of different places. And I found when I used to go to Goa for the work and I used to run in Goa in the morning, the dogs in Goa were the most ferocious. So other places they'll bark. I know it's okay. These dogs would run behind me, and then I spoke to my friend. I said, "No, I'm running, and these dogs are running behind me. So I'm doing more sprints and more riskier sprints. So what should I do?" He said, "Let me tell you, it's this simple thing. Have one stick in the hand and run."
Yeah.
I said, "What will happen?" Try it out, and I tried running with just छोटा सा पेड़ का टुकड़ा डंडी लेता है, just walk, and they used to bark from far. And then I learned a very important lesson that you don't need to hit, but you need to be strong enough to say that don't play around.
Come near me. Yeah.
Don't come near me. That's another lesson for the business too.
Absolutely. Very true.
So
And I've had the similar thing about dogs, when every place you find this, they'll be behind you. Some will bark, some might even chase you.
yeah.
You just pick up a stone or something, and even if you just do this, they will.
However, they break the momentum. So, but when I run with a stick in hand, so the only place I run a stick in the hand is Goa. Other places it's okay. But when I run in Dubai, there are no dogs on the road.
Yeah,
so
correct.
it's simpler. There are cats on the road, but they don't haunt you. But it's a beautiful learning in the morning. The beauty of mornings are so powerful, and I have a very powerful feeling. I don't know how many people will understand, but there's a smell of a nature. Or maybe trees. I don't know.
Which is the purest in the morning.
And I love that so much that suddenly I get into meditative phase. Even if I'm walking, brisk walking.
Correct.
But the nature, the smell of a tree or a leaf, it's so powerful that. And so, how was your running? Let's talk about running in the nature. So, what all different places in terms of desert, sand, water, barish ho rahi hai? Any different experience you have on running?
Most of it has been on the roads only. A couple of times on trail also, but trail has been very less. The toughest terrain which I have run is in Ladakh. I have done the Leh Marathon in 2023.
Ladakh mein the oxygen level would be low.
Yeah, that was.
The cold is more.
Cold is there. So that was probably the most difficult terrain which I have encountered.
Have you done running in the rains also? Water is pouring.
Rains also I've run.
That's very common in Pune for sure.
We do that. I mean, it's not a problem. It's just you have to get out, and because the day's routine is there, so it's
doesn't
raining.
matter. It's raining or it's not raining.
Yeah, it's a little irritating, but fine. It's not a problem.
Yeah. That's a life also.
Yeah.
You do what you're supposed to do.
Correct.
Doesn't matter. Sometimes it's irritating, but still do it.
Right.
Because it should be done. Right. So let's talk about little myths about running. Just you were saying that more majorly on the road. A lot of people say when you run on the road, it hurts your knees, and this is one myth I have heard, but I wanted to give me answer for that as well as any other myths you have come across about running.
So this is very common, the one on the knees. But again, if you counter this with good strength training, you will be able to do it. And secondly,
and diet also, I think.
Diet is there. And secondly, you need your joints to move. And these are the most important joints when you're running. So if you're not going to run or walk, you're going to anyway kill them. So there's no point in thinking about what will happen to my knees. Just do how you can. Listen to your body. If there is a small ache or something, it can
Take
be
a break.
ignored. But if it's persistent, then you can consult
A
a
doctor or
physician and then take an action accordingly. But just thinking about that the knees are going to wear out or they're going to pain or you're going to have bad knees, I think it's purely a myth.
Yeah, if you
It
if you
doesn't
can
work
run
that.
marathon at 52 and drive yourself half of the journey, then
So I saw people in the same event who was 78 years old. He did a full
78
marathon.
full
Yes.
marathon.
Yes.
Wow.
So I mean it's just in the mind. And there's one more gentleman who was a blind person, of course, with three people with him without holding, but with verbal instructions. He did a full marathon in 6 hours 55 minutes, which is a
Wow.
record. He's the first guy to, I think, in Asia to achieve that timing. So I think it's all about the love and the commitment. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. That's it.
So another funny question: the men who run looks very handsome, and the women who run looks very beautiful. Why is that?
I don't know. Somehow I have found that people dress up very well for running.
No, that's one part of it.
I have done it myself over the years. So and I find a lot of co-runners, fellow runners do it. And yeah, it's just probably it's an event. Every day is an event. We just dress up well.
What I
and
feel
step
is
out.
because running helps you shed extra weight on the body and the face, and that sharpens your
There's a
features.
radiation.
The radiation comes in the morning
Because of
vibes.
the sweat goes through the pores and
Yeah.
you're like shining because of that.
Yeah, so a lot of health reasons are there. Then definitely clothing style and that
Correct.
matters a lot in that direction. So, any big goals you have? Next goals for the running? Do you want to share with us?
So yeah, this year of course, as I said, I'm doing the pro camp, so which means I'll
All
have
four.
to do Bangalore followed by Delhi. I already did Kolkata in December.
So half is done for you.
Yeah, two of them are done. That is the first goal for the year. There is an international one which I've qualified through a lottery. That is for Chicago, which is
Chicago Run is very famous.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the majors. So I am doing that in October. And apart from that, maybe I look ahead to doing a couple of more fulls in the coming year. Hopefully, I will attempt Mumbai again next year.
Next year, wonderful. So, you were sharing something about entrepreneurship, running the club. Do you want to share that idea too with us?
So it's a thought that comes to my mind where running has given me so much over the 10 years in terms of my health or the events which I have finished. So good it's a good thought that I should also give it back in terms of coaching people or maybe entrepreneurs who are like-minded like me, who are fitness focused and they want to take up to some sport which is easy to take up. It's also a good way to meet up where a group of 10 or 20 people meet every week, just have a casual run and chat about our businesses.
That could
And
be very
in
powerful.
the
Yeah.
same time, maybe we can also talk about running goals without diverting from the main subject. Have some goals for running also. Say just it could be a very simple thing that one event I want to do this year, considering the time which I have for devoting to the training and things like that. But the rest of the time, maybe whenever we meet, we could have interactions for business.
Yeah.
There could be some sharing of leads, networking.
So similar mindset people when come together for the purpose of running, but definitely it'll be because all entrepreneurs so they love sharing about each other.
Exactly.
And we can help each other grow.
Correct.
It's a wonderful idea. So it's called Entrepreneur Runners Club.
Entrepreneur Runners Club.
Entrepreneur Runner Club. So if someone want to join, should I give them a description box detail about how can they join?
Yeah, why not? We can always start. I mean,
Yeah, we can always start.
It's in the starting phase
Yeah.
right now, so we are welcome. Most people are welcome. There's no
Yeah,
problem.
rather if they are not in Pune, anywhere in India, people can just form these clubs
we
together.
can do
Like
that.
entrepreneurs come together. They just form a WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp group, and then we can chat on the group.
Yeah, and-
We can have plans, like maybe it's also possible that we can have a Zoom meeting.
Zoom meetings to explain
Yeah,
details.
we can always work out. Every week we have a Zoom meeting. After so the people who are meeting offline have a run.
Yeah.
But then post that we connect with the others who are outside and have a Zoom meeting, something like that.
Yeah. So it could be very powerful because growth and running comes together.
Right.
Wonderful. So, would you like to talk a little bit about your book too? Because it's coming soon, I know.
Yeah.
And launch date and little bit about the name and share
So
more about the book. People can buy
the
the book.
name, the main title is Frozen. It's Stride and Thrive. I am still working on the subtitle. The book focuses on three parts. The first part is about the attributes and the habits which are very much relatable when it comes to running and life and business as well. The second part takes you through a plan of how you can start running from a couch. You can extend that to a 10K, a 21K, or a 42K
marathon.
as per your choice. So it deals with, step-wise, week-wise, how you should do it. And the third part is talking to or interviews which I have taken of people who have benefited from running and are good runners even today with aims going ahead, and not just from a young age category, but even senior citizens who have very taken this up very passionately and are continuing to run.
And I think a couple of people are from out of India. One is from
Yes.
Dubai, one is from UK.
Yes, the
So it's
two
a
of
global,
them overseas. Yes, correct.
global experience people are. It's a wonderful book if someone want to start running, as well as someone is already running. They can realize how powerful running is because of the one of the section which teaches
Yes.
what kind of habits they have already built in. It's just a realization happens, and they can teach to kids. And
Yes.
we are all we. And what is the launch date for the book?
I have kept 8th of April as the launch date, which is my father's death anniversary. And he himself was a writer, so he had 4 books which he has written himself.
Wow.
So I thought, it's very apt to have it on that day. He would be very happy.
Yeah, so all of us will go to Amazon, search for it, and we'll buy the book on it. And I'm meeting you, so I might take an autograph on the book from you
Absolutely.
and author signed copy. But it was a wonderful learning for me when we started working on the book together, and it opened my perspective how running can change life. It
Right.
could be one of the activity we do an hour in the morning.
Correct.
But actually, if that hour is fixed well, entire day can be fixed, entire month can be fixed, and entire year can be fixed. Everything can go with that alignment.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people will learn that through this podcast as well as with your book. And thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I personally would like to invite a lot of people to join Entrepreneurs Runner Club for all business owners come together and run together and grow together.
Definitely.
Thank you for joining
Thank
in.
you.
And maybe next time we'll have a podcast on your book.
Definitely. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.